Here are 5 creature feature found footage movies that I highly recommend that you check out. Hi, my name is Lena. I'm also known as Lena Frankenstein on social media. I'm a massive horror fan, love talking about the genre, so if that's something you enjoy and you want to check out what else I've got going on, make sure to follow Lena Frankenstein on TikTok, Instagram and Letterboxd. For my first YouTube video on this channel, I thought I would combine my love of creature features and Brian's love of found footage and give you a list of 5 creature feature found footage movies that you should watch, and then I'm going to give 2 things that I liked about the movie and 1 thing that I really didn't like about the movie. So I'm going to kick things off with Cloverfield from 2008. This is one of my favourite found footage movies ever, and the fact that it's a creature feature just ticks the box even better for me. It follows a group of friends who live in New York City, and they're throwing a leaving party for one of their friends who has a job in Japan. As the party is getting started, there is a massive power outage in the whole city, and as the friends head down to the streets to figure out what is going on, they are stopped in their tracks by a massive monster who is causing havoc in their city. So the first thing I love about this movie is the creature design. I think that the monster, the alien, whatever you want to call it, looks genuinely terrifying. I think the design is brilliant, and the fact that it goes from thinking that there is one big monster in the city to them being hundreds of little ones as well, I just think it is perfect. My second pro for Cloverfield is definitely that it packs a lot into a story with not a lot of runtime. There's only 84 minutes of runtime in this movie, but it does not feel like it at all because they do not give you a chance to breathe. You're dropped right into it and it just takes off from there, and I really love that. The one thing I do dislike about this movie is the shaky camera work, and I am aware that in found footage there is a lot of shaky camera work and I can deal with some of it, but when it gets to the point where there is just so much shaking of the camera, you don't have a clue what's going on at all. It makes me feel sick sometimes with motion sickness. I just don't enjoy that. So that is Cloverfield in a nutshell. I rated this one 4 stars on Letterboxd, and I highly recommend that you check it out. Next movie on my list is Foxhollow. This releases this year. I was lucky enough to get a screener for this a couple of months ago. It's an independent movie from Wales and it is incredible. The movie follows Tom, who is hired by Tucker to film a nature documentary, but Tom soon realises that Tucker is absolutely mental and he is actually there to capture Bigfoot on camera. This movie felt so real to me. It genuinely felt like I was watching a documentary and not a horror movie. I had to keep reminding myself that this was fake. That shows you how well it was done. This is an incredible independent horror movie and I highly suggest that you back this. It was on Indiegogo and they surpassed their goal, so there will now be Blu-rays on order next month, I believe. So if you want to grab one of those, head over to Ritual Video on Instagram and click the link in their bio. The first thing I liked about Foxhollow was definitely the cinematography. This felt like a really high budget movie. There was a lot of care taken into the different camera angles and the different shooting styles, and it really paid off. And my second positive for this movie is definitely the characters' acting. The characters felt so real to me, like I said, that I genuinely forgot that I was watching a horror movie, and that is just incredible. I'm genuinely struggling to find a con to this movie because I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to kind of cheat with this one and just say that the only con is that it's not long enough of me hearing the Welsh accent. I wanted that movie to go on forever because the accents are just perfect. I gave this movie 3.5 stars on Letterboxd and absolutely loved it. The next movie on my list is Frogman from 2023. This follows a 12-year-old boy who captures Frogman on video camera in the 1990s, and no one really believes it is real, so he goes back 20 years later to the same spot, determined to capture proof and really show the world that this is real. My first positive thought on Frogman is definitely the creature feature element. It didn't look cheap. I thought the creature design was really well portrayed on the camera and I really enjoyed seeing it. And my second positive for the movie is definitely that it kept you guessing. I could not have written down on paper what the ending of this movie was going to be. It took a complete left turn halfway through the movie and I really did not see it coming. And my only negative comment on the movie is, for me, it was a bit slow to get started, but that might just be myself. I gave Frogman 2.5 stars on Letterboxd, and this is one that you can check out for free on Tubi. My fourth movie on this list is Digging Up the Marrow from 2014. This is a mockumentary style found footage movie starring and directed by Adam Green, who you might know as the director of Frozen or Hatchet. This movie follows Adam Green, played by himself, who is contacted by a man who claims that monsters are real and ropes Adam into filming this experience with him. If you are a horror fan, there are a lot of famous faces pop out throughout this movie, and I absolutely loved that. Digging Up the Marrow was one that I'd actually never heard of before, and I was so glad that I'd watched it, so this was such a fun movie. My first positive for this movie is definitely all the horror cameos that pop up throughout. There are so many horror icons that make an appearance in this movie that it just makes my heart so happy. And my second positive is definitely the creature designs. I love special effects. I am a sucker for practical effects and special effects makeup. It is definitely the way to my heart. So seeing the monsters in this movie made me so happy. They looked incredible. My only negative point on this movie would be the pacing. I think that they could have shaved off a little bit of time with this one. I felt like some parts were very back and forward and you kind of felt like you'd been there before. But other than that, this was a great movie to watch. I gave Digging Up the Marrow 3.5 stars on Letterboxd. This was a lot of fun. My final movie on the list is Frankenstein's Army from 2013. This was one that again I had never heard of, so I have Brian to thank for the recommendation, and this was so much fun. The movie is set in the dying days of World War II and follows a group of Russian soldiers who are lured into a lab of a mad scientist who has created mad monsters made of flesh and machines, and they have to fight their way out of there. My first pro of Frankenstein's Army is definitely the time period it's set in. I feel like we don't get very many found footage movies set in World War II. I might be wrong there, so if I am, please let me know. But I really enjoyed the sort of different feel that this movie gave. I feel like a lot of found footage movies are set in current times. So this one was really entertaining to be set in the past, and I felt like it conveyed a very interesting story. You're going to know what my second favourite point of this movie is, and that is the creature designs, because once again, they were incredible. Things in this movie were unlike anything that I've ever seen before or even thought of before, and I said it in my Letterboxd review, but I think that this would make a really fun game adaptation. I would love to play a horror game with these zombie monster creatures. It would be amazing. And once again, my only con of the movie was its runtime. It is only an hour and 26 minutes, but I felt like there was definite pacing issues with this as well, and things could have been cut to make it just slightly shorter and a bit better flowing. I rated Frankenstein's Army 3 stars on Letterboxd, and I really enjoyed this one. This is one that I would definitely check out again. So there you have it. There are 5 creature feature found footage movies for you to check out. I have put in the description where you can watch these in the UK. Please let me know in the comments what you thought. I've been Lena Frankenstein. I'll see you next time.